Strategy and Snark presents Dungeons & Dragons Online. Welcome back. Today we've got a bit of an easy one. We're going to take a look at the epic Delera's Tomb. This is one of those packs that was... Repeat, please. It's one of those packs that was updated quite a ways after it was originally came out. This is one that I have done lots of times. So let's see if I can muscle memory my way through this one. Not terribly worried. Though, I am curious how hard the traps are going to hit. There's a couple... The last quest in particular has some pretty nasty traps. If you're not, ready for them. So we'll see if having been epicified later in its life, if the traps are as pointy as they've been in the last couple packs. Alright, we've got our hireling, we're going to throw our buffs up, and we're going to start charging forward. So, we are in epics. We are not excuse me. We are not going to stop and dodge traps. We are going to yeet ourselves through the traps. I do want to show... So, I saw Strimtom do this, and I thought it was pretty awesome. So the point we're trying to do right here is you pull the lever, it drops the bridge, you go into the left room and the right room to pull levers to drop the last bit of the bridge, and you go across. But, and I think there's a lever under one of these pillars. Credit to Strimtom for showing this off first. But if you have enough jump, which I do not. Oh, I do. You can just throw yourself right up and ignore the entire bridge. We've had such problems with my low jump score. I was really not expecting that to work. Well, for sure, even if you have a crappy jump, we are at what? We are at 21 after my jump potion, and we still made it up here. So there you go. I love little things like that. Okay? And that's been like that for a while, right? That has to have persisted through the epic revamp, right? They had to know that worked. And they chose not to fix it, which is awesome. Dungeons and Dragons type dungeons, right? They're all about outsmarting the design of the dungeon. Dungeon masters want you to do things like that. So it makes me happy that, one of the few times in DDO you can actually use the ability to jump, use the terrain to skip something, and they didn't just hard patch it, invisible force field. No, you must go do it the other way. Like, no, there should be more things like that in the game. There should be more times that if you can squeeze through a crack to do something, let us go faster. Make this a great speedrun game, right? That would be pretty cool. Jump over that trap. I don't think people are going to speedrun it like they do Super Metroid or anything like that, but like the main end game, if you call it that, of DDO is TRing. It's like they want you specifically to go and redo the quests lots of times. And you know what would make the quests more fun to do lots of times? If there were tricks you could do to make them go faster Oop, do not stop in the trap. I am tickled that that works. Like, I was sure I wasn't going to make it. Fine, we'll throw the dart at it. Just so I don't run back through the trap. There we go. My Vorpal went off. Alright, so Strimtom also mentioned something here. The enemies spawn when you step on the skulls, apparently. I didn't step on the skull, and we got some bad guys. Maybe it's everything after the... He literally was just doing this the other day, from, you know, my point of view. So, you kind of get some bonus tips that I wouldn't have known. Alright, let's see if... Nope, see, I did not step on those. I always thought that this was, what do you call it? It just, when you get close to the door. That's it. You get close to the door, it shuts down. Maybe it's the wraiths. Maybe he said the wraiths specifically are... Let's see if I hold still if we get any wraiths. I don't see any wraiths. Now I gotta purposely step on this one. Nothing. How about this one? Nothing. I guess we'll just kill this thing. Oh, there's an archer on the far side. Alright. I don't know. This all looks like it's acting the same way it has. Don't see anything special. They lock me in here. I kill them. They lock me in the next room. I kill them. They're doing a reasonable amount of damage. I mean, I could just summon my hireling at any point. Or I could just spam smites. I get 200 HP back whenever I smite. I think they fixed my smiting ability. Because it was always supposed to heal me when I use smite. It's supposed to heal the hireling too, but I don't know if that's fixed. But I usually have like a 50% success rate getting that to work. So, if that's working, then great. Down go the bad guys. You'll note we've already completed the quest, right? For some reason, the devs were like, you know what? We're going to make this a really hard fight. Or a fight you might not be able to win. So rather than penalize you, they gave you your XP. Now, if you die, you don't get your treasure chest because the instance will shut down because it's finished. Like, the game doesn't know that it's supposed to hold on to it, so you don't get your loot if you have to leave at this point. Not that I got anything worth keeping anyway. So, 7 whole minutes. That's not bad. There's 4 quests in this game? Maybe 5? I didn't see anything particularly new in that particular quest. But those are some reasonably hard-hitting skeletons and such. I was taking damage. Not enough to make me, you know, pause, but we're kind of built pretty solid, so not tanky, but tanky enough, like off tank kind of. If we had been routinely getting knocked down to very low HP, it would have been like, ooh, that's maybe a little overdone there. Or our gear is finally crippling us, but I think we'll be fine. Just jump straight back into quest number 2, which I think is the long one. Is this the long one? No, I think 3 is the long one. One of these quests is just way longer than the other ones. Alright, what do we got? Gotta get my buffs up. Alright. I usually jump on these corners because I think it's in the next quest. There are ice traps. And I have absolutely died in those ice traps. Just walking around the first corner of the quest. Just la 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 bleh. Because I did not respect the trap. I don't think we would take that much damage. Because we've got decent MRR, I think. But, I don't know. Let's not purposely jump in the trap if we can avoid it. Unless we see the trap and we want how much damage it does. Then we might do it anyway. Sometimes I wonder why we need to flip levers. Like, I can understand when they're hidden. I can understand when, they're guarded. I mean, this one's kind of hidden in that we have to backtrack to hit it. But there's a lot of times that all we end up doing is, go to the left, hit the lever. Why is the lever in 2 different places? Besides to encourage you to group. They want you to group up, but the number one thing they do on the quests that require grouping is make you split up. It's a little odd, isn't it? Your number one thing you do when you group for grouping required quests is split up and do your section solo anyway. I believe I mentioned this before. Oh, I think somebody said something too. Yeah. This little lake... That's not a lake. This pond, or... No. Pool? Pool is the best. You can have an indoor pool. There are 3 of the Omeron Sentinel Guardian things, which are optional fights that give you XP and potentially treasure. 3 of them are under that water, which I'm pretty sure is also a locked door, if I remember right. We'll dive in and confirm that it's a locked door. Boing. Yep, you swim down here. Oh, it's not locked. It's not open either. Interesting. Well, there's a glyph on that one, so maybe it's tied to... I don't know. I don't know how you open it. I've been back there once. I'm sure that at some point there's a locked, actual, you need a rogue locked door, which is why I never bother. I'm very rarely on a character that can unlock it. And it's just like, let's see. So I don't remember who commenter was, but somebody said there's 3 back there plus a chest, and then over by the sniper, which we're not to yet, there's 2 behind a locked door. Actually, no, he did not say that that was locked. There's a locked door by the sniper guardian. So am I supposed to be able to get in there? Is there another lever somewhere that I missed? So now I'm curious. If I don't figure it out, I'm gonna. Well, if I don't figure it out, I'm just gonna Google it. But that's not the same thing. I don't see any levers. That side is open. Oh, I can see this has an unlit room with this like crooked chair on it. Maybe that means the one up there? No, it's this. Maybe because the bad guy wasn't dead? I don't know. Stay there, hireling. Maybe I have to turn it off to turn that one on? It's not how it worked on the other one. Let's try turning it off. Off. Does off up here mean on down here? Yes. I wonder if that's intended. Oh, it's gotta be. Look, now we've got... Same one. Do you have to have 2 people? Because I can't... I mean, if I try to make the hireling do it, we're going to get locked in that section. So, not going in there because apparently you need somebody up top to move the gate. Again, we were just talking about this. They require 2 people to do something, and by 2 people, they mean 1 person to solo it and the other one to flip a lever back and forth. You're not actually working together. You're working separately. You might as well do it So what would be a good example of teamwork? What was that game? It Takes Two? I haven't played it, but I saw the gameplay, and I think looks like a good way to do team. The general conceit of it is that both players have effectively different abilities. So, like, I think the first level was like one of you has a hammer, the other one has nails. So the nail player, I mean, they do more than just nail things. So hammer guy presumably can fight enemies with the hammer. And also, nail the nails in to make permanent, like, handholds to climb. And I think the nail was, like, used as, like, a pole vault or something so that the nail player could jump around more. And then, obviously, they position the nails for the guy with the hammer. So, generally, the reason I brought that up is if you're going to have 2 players, maybe you have each of them doing a separate thing that combine together. I'm imagining one of those like two-headed dragons, which we don't have. We don't have any multi-headed dragons in this game yet. Strange. We don't have a Hydra. I mean, it would just look like a big enemy, but... Huh. Anyway. I was thinking of something like one head is a fire head, one head's an ice head. And maybe... Well, no. Most players can do more than one type of damage. I mean, my paladin does sword damage and wouldn't care that they're elementally based anyway. So maybe an enemy that used two different elements on wouldn't work. Something you have to, like, set and spike, like in volleyball. But then, like, one player is doing, like, the fun part, and the other one's just setting it up. Really? I'm pulling a lever here. I don't know. I didn't think it would be this hard to just think of a good reason to have two people. Other than you can be in two places at once. Use two items at the same time. You could do the somebody steers, somebody shoots thing. But then somebody has to steer. I remember having a good time playing Mario Kart Double Dash. My friend would steer and I would be the guy standing on the back, like, firing the weapons. Because I was bad at steering. And he really didn't want to be the aggressor, I guess. He didn't want to be the, like, attacker for some reason. I think it's just because he was so focused on the driving. Like, he didn't want to have to worry about lining the shots up, too. So it's like, no. You steer, and I will just time my shot for whenever the guy happens to cross through the crosshairs. Do not aim, just drive. And it worked out pretty good. But that was like a dedicated racing game. I don't know. What would we do in DDO with steering and shooting? It would be kind of cool if there was a raid. Because, you know, if you're going to have required players, it's probably going to be a raid. What if you were, like, piloting a Warforged Titan? So, like, somebody's, like, the actual steering. Somebody's controlling the, say, the top weaponry. Somebody else is controlling, like, the hammer arm and all that. It's like a big old Megazord. That'd be interesting. Supposedly, those things are supposed to be manned by crews, not individual golem. So that would be interesting. I don't know why you would want to split the tasks. Because that just kind of goes back to the... Why are you artificially making this do multiple things? Like, nobody wants to be the guy whose job is just to make it walk. Like, if you're gonna split the jobs up, you gotta make them fun. Like, each job. Everybody has to be okay with doing each job. If there's an obviously bad, unfun job and nobody wants to do it, like, can I make the hireling do it? Because otherwise somebody's always gonna hate this quest. twice as long as the first one. Not twice as much XP. But, you know, we're mostly running down the hallway, slapping things. 2 down. 2 to go? I think. So, I've had some good time playing like Star Trek, what's it called? Bridge Commander, I think. It's the VR game where somebody is the pilot and somebody's the weapons officer and somebody's the captain and somebody's the engineer. And it's not that it's bad, okay? The problem is any job that is one job is boring. You kind of always want to be doing 2 things. So, the most egregious example is the engineer. Imagine you've got 4 friends together, okay? One of you is the captain and gets to say, "I'm the captain now," over and over again. Because he's the captain. The captain pushes a couple of buttons, but mostly the captain gets to yell things. And, like, it's just fun to be the captain in that you're the captain. You don't actually do anything. I think you answer the hails because they didn't bother making a communications officer to literally sit there and do nothing. The captain is the backup for everything else. Okay, so we'll just say the captain has the ability to turn the screen on, his little screen, to whatever else there is and take over. The captain fills in the gap for whoever you don't have in your group. The pilot steers the ship. Steering the ship is inherently a fun activity because you get to steer the ship. It requires like you to actively be doing something. You actively need to steer the ship. You need to look at where you're going so you don't crash into the rocks or the space dock. Like, we didn't even make it out of the space dock without scratching the paint on the damn thing. And it was the NPC who was driving. And then there's the weapons officer, right? And you would think that one would be more fun, but we actually had kind of a hard time with it because like shields, you just turn them on and then they're on. Like, why would you turn them off? And then, you know, yes, it's kind of, you need to aim the weapons, but the aiming system on the Enterprise isn't really. It's less like the tail gun, and it's less aim, shoot, and more like click, click, click. But the bad one, the reason we're talking about this, is somebody has to be the engineer. What does the engineer do? He distributes power levels. I guess it's supposed to be like this big puzzle. It's supposed to be like shields, weapons, engines. Pick 2. Is basically what it is. And it's like, oh no, what'll we do? We can only have like 2 of these at one time. Like, weapons, shields, done. Why is this a question? Are we in combat? If yes, weapons, shields. Turn my like million-ton spaceship slowly enough that we can just fire like an old naval vessel. We'll just fire all the torpedoes as we slowly turn in place. Like, what's the problem here? But that's not the worst part. The worst part is that there is a spot where you could set them to have everything at like 2/3 power. You could just set it so everything is always at 2/3 power. Okay. So if you're gonna min-max anything, at most you're maybe leaving engines at 1, and then alternating between weapon and shield, pushing them from 2 to 3, depending on, you look up at the other guy's screen and see if he's currently firing the weapon or not. Like, it's not even a complicated interface. There's not a lot to do. There's just not a lot to do. Like, their job is so simple. Nobody ever decided to be the engineer twice. Like, their job is so simple. Whoever's playing captain just switches to the engineering screen, sets it up, switches off the screen, and we never look at it again. Like, that's the level of effort that goes into the engineering one. And I feel like that's what happens whenever anybody really splits tasks. Like, you need 12 people to do this raid so that 4 of them can go over here, and 4 of them can go over here, and 4 of them can go over here. And by 4, we mean one person's going to solve the puzzle, and the other 3 are going to fight some trash mobs, so that the guy doing the puzzle doesn't get killed while he's alt-tabbed out using the solver. And then, by 4 on this other one, we actually mean one guy with an invasion-based guy is going to run through this trap gauntlet while everybody else dances. And just tries not to fall in the lava and die. Like, if you're gonna split the players up, I feel like if you're gonna split the players up, it's gotta be worth it. Everybody's gotta have something cool to do. There's gotta be a reason. I mean, this is kind of it's not only why do you need 2 people to do this. This goes into why I don't like raids. Why do we need 12 people to do this? The answer is almost always because we scaled the enemies really high. So you just can't do it yourself. If the enemies were a joke, I could probably make it through a lot more raids. Because most raids don't have, like, you need to be in 2 places at the same time. Most of them are just big boss fights. Vault of Night is an impressive quest. Vault of Night Part 5 has one of the most convoluted quests I've ever been in. And I've done it once. It was cool, some random weekend day, I was probably home alone. Decided to join a pug. And, credit to them, they let some guy who didn't know what he was doing tag along. They were all really cool. Didn't have, any issues with the people. And we completed the whole raid. But you know what I did that whole time? Was follow along behind people and touch nothing. Occasionally enemies would pop up and it was okay for me to attack them. My job was to take as little damage as possible so that the healers didn't have to even recognize I was there. I got to see the other guys do the stuff. So I got to experience it. Like, they're like, they were doing a, like, not a full-on teaching raid, but like while we were waiting on people in another corner to do something, they were like, hey, this is what they're doing. This is what we're doing on this section. I'm going to go and do this. You guys watch me do it. I thought this would be worth a lot more. This quest is a lot longer. Well, I guess it's not longer than the second one. We're like almost 5 minutes quicker. Oh, but that was a cool looking quest. Vaughn 5. And Vaughn 6. Man, nobody says Vaughn 6 sucks. Like, there's a couple things that make it tricky. But most of the people who walk in that quest go, ooh, that's a location that we need to reuse. I wish I could take a thumbnail there. I've got like one screenshot up there. Alright, where am I? I believe that we are supposed to go and we get our reward from the guy outside, and then the quest chain ends. Elementally, I mean, that's a lot of fire resistance and negative resistance, and con 12 isn't bad. But, yeah, just to advance the plot. We could go talk to Delera, but it won't do any good. We're supposed to talk to this guy, who, after you turn the last quest in, he will become available to click on. Some bluff or some gold, and he'll tell you a secret. You go talk to Delera thinking that you're going to put her ghost to rest. You can put it in at Reaper 1,000,000 if you want. It doesn't matter because you can't actually be in Reaper in this quest. It's hard-coded to not count. It is hard-coded to not actually count for any Reaper XP or anything. We didn't even complete it that time, I think, because I didn't walk far enough. Doesn't matter, though. It still doesn't count. What it will count for is it will count as elite completion. For that, for some reason, that counts. I don't know why, but it counts. Almost forgot something. And then I remembered. So, this is the last quest we're doing. Kind of. Remember, there actually are more quests that count as part of Delera's Tome. Because the graveyard itself is locked behind owning the pack. However, none of those other quests got an epic facelift. So, yes, there are more quests in this pack. But no, they did not get updated. Alright. the second one on the left, that melting chair, or whatever you want to call it. Guess you could just call it like an N or an H. This guy looks like a shitty chair to me. Man. You would think this is an easy puzzle. Okay? There's the glyph over the door. So, if you pretend I don't know anything, you walk in. There's a bunch of crypts. There's levers on the wall under glyphs. They go, ooh, we don't know which one to pull. Do we pull them at random? I don't know. If they just finish exploring the room, they come up here and go, oh, it's that one. They go flip that one, the door opens. They move on. Unless you are playing Dungeons and Dragons with humans, they will just grab every single freaking lever and just jack them up and down like a light switch, going, do you see anything happening? I literally had a switch, okay? Ooh. Yeah, I didn't actually... Oh, that one did more damage. How'd the poison... Oh, I don't have poison resist. So the poison trap did more damage than the cold trap. Anyway, I had effectively a lever. If you pull the lever, it explodes. Is the short version. Pull the lever, a little fire trap goes off. Because you're supposed to actually pull the other lever. Very simple. Do you pull left lever or right lever? What do the players do? They pull the wrong one first, right? And everybody goes, ah, that one's trapped. Except for one player who goes, we best make sure. Click, 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 click. He literally blew himself up like 2 or 3 times before everyone was just like, no, we're not. No, stop. Just stop. Never underestimate that people can be very stupid. So the traps have been hitting us reasonably hard, but not ludicrously hard. The traps are the thing I was the most curious about, because we've been hitting some sticky traps lately. But now, that very first hallway with the cold trap, followed up immediately by the poison trap and an ambush, that's where I know I've died at least once. Probably a couple times. And there's a good reason not to do this one on hardcore without a trapper. Because that's a scary hallway right on the inside of a quest. Alright. Half of this quest is done. Yeah, that archer's not going to catch me. Oh, there actually are some more guys who can catch me, though. If you're having trouble killing the ghostly skeletons, remember they are weak to holy weapons. All of my weapons are holy, so pretty easy for a paladin. What do we get? A funerary token. I don't know what that means. Somebody mentioned once that, like, I'm just, like, squandering a lot of resources by not picking up the bags with the collectibles in them. I don't even know half of them do anymore. Because they don't do what they used to do. I want to say their main use right now is... It's not even really crafting. Do people use the crafting anymore? I want to say their main purpose is people trade them in for augments. But I've looked at the list of augments, and like you can only get to like level 12 or something augments. It's something that's not the top tier ones. It's like, why would I want to purposely only have like 8 strength? Or whatever, like, not max level amount of something. It's like, it's not worth... I do not believe it is worth my time to farm augments, so I don't use gear that has augment slots on it. Interrupted my lever pulling. I suppose, like... Alright, let me clarify. To the commenter who says I should pick these up, you're not wrong. It's free stuff, and I should absolutely be picking them up. If for no other reason than maybe they'll change something in the future, and I will want them and already have them. Like, you're not wrong. I absolutely should be picking them up. It is purely laziness that I don't. I just don't want my inventory getting full faster than it already does. See these 3 slots we have? 4 now, because we're going to destroy the Club of the Holy Flame and eat these 1000 XP and this 500 XP. There we go. I thought enemies were supposed to spawn by now. Maybe I gotta hit the lever first. Dungeon alert. Who haven't I killed? The 2 oozes at the bottom of the trap? Is that who you're complaining about, game? I didn't kill the 2 oozes at the bottom of the trap? Or like the 1 archer most of the way back on that other side? I totally thought that was a lever and I was just walking away from it. Boing. Why is this closed? Isn't it usually that? Get out of there. It's like yelling at the kid. Don't play with that. Did I leave bad guys in here? No. Guess we'll find out if I find a bunch of skeletons around a corner. Alright. Oh, here's a skeleton. Oh, there's 4 skeletons I left behind here. I definitely didn't leave behind a arcane skeleton on purpose. Wonder if they just spawned too slow. These guys I know have spawned because I opened that door. These were not there before. And skeleton's out. Now we walk down the hall and kill the boss. Go home in time for dinner. I'm going to kill all his friends so he knows. Take this arcade skeleton. I almost forgot to kill this one. Hi, Dreadlord. I have killed your entire army and every single other undead. 4 dungeons deep. Two, 1. Okay, now I can open the chest. Soul releasing. Assassinate. Actually, magical sheltering plus 30 is pretty good. Like, that's... And trap the soul guard is honestly one of my favorite procs because sometimes things will hit you and just die. They'll just die. Man, Assassinate's such a shitty thing to have on there. I'm gonna take that ring though, because I like the soul stealing part. And there's nothing we can do about those chests. So, hey, whoosh, look at that. Under an hour. Whole pack. Mostly because the other ones are not epic. Like, I will double check. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Where is Delera's tomb? Find Delera. Right there. Not that you can see that. 2, 3, 4. I mean, it says 5 quests, but one of them is literally turn in your chain. I mean, there's a slight difference here, okay? Delera's tomb, Reaper 10, doesn't count. You can get the epic Voice of the Master, which has Striding 30 on it, which is honestly tempting. It's a minor artifact, 3 augment slots. But you know what it doesn't have? All the stuff that Duskcart has on it. My dodge, false life, dusk, protect, and an augment slot. By Delera. So yeah, that was the last quest right there. Literally walk in, high five, leave. That was literally one of the 5 quests. I am curious if they advertise that as a quest. If they say, hey, this chain has 5 quests. I don't know. But yeah, they're the only epic ones. There's no other epic there. Anything different? Heroic to epic? No. I didn't see anything anyway. But even though I've done those quests a bunch, I'm not tired of them. Maybe because I'm on an epic character and usually I'm on a little baby level 6 or something. So it's just kind of nice to be powerful running through there. I don't know. Anything special about it? No. But, I mean, there's named items. I suppose that should just be a blanket disclaimer for all of the epic quests, is that most of them have epic versions of the items. But that quest pack is level 28, which means you're unlikely to use that stuff on your final character build. I guess not impossible if you really like something, but this is kind of the bottom edge of where you can get loot that you're going to keep for your character. So, something to keep in mind. Although that next time the level cap goes up, it's going to make it a lot harder to justify. But at least for now. Where are we going next? Alright, next on the list. Man, I should have switched the order of those. We're going right back to Evening Star. However, it's for a good reason. Because next time we get to do, I believe, our first epic only pack. Now, we've done a quest that only has an epic version. But this quest is only available in epic. The whole pack. The whole pack is one quest. But it's a doozy. It's a doozy. So join me next time. We're going to go take a look at the Haunted Halls of Evening Star. It's a doozy of a quest, and we're going to try to do the extended one. I'll explain later. But that is a doozy of a quest. Definitely worthy of actually being epic. One that I hope, just like how heroic quests get scaled up into epic, I'm hoping that this pack someday gets upgraded from epic up into legendary. This is a pack that I think would deserve it. But new thing next time. All right, I'll see you then. I really hope that the temperature goes down so it's nice and comfy for that tomorrow. All right, see you then. Thanks for watching. Yeah, Haunted Halls. It'll be a good one.